Okay, so as an example program, I'm just going to make a little program that gives us information about days of the week. It's not a real exciting program, but it gets some of the points that I want to make across. So the program is just going to allow the person to keep typing in, okay, Monday, tell me about Monday. Gives information about Monday, like the planet associated with Monday was Diana as the moon in the Greek mythology. Monday is not a day that you can sleep in on. The ISO day number for Monday is 1, stuff like that. Okay. Like,
Sure.
not real exciting, but type in Monday, get your information. Get asked, hey, do you want to get another day? Yeah. Type in Wednesday, get your information. Great. Hey, do you want another day? Keep going until they decide not to type in a day. Right? That's the plan for the program. Now, I started writing up some of that a little bit, and I want to fill in some of the parts here. One of the ways and reasons that I like to use methods is to keep chunks of program small, right? Here's the main program that I have. Now I have my font up nice and large. Okay, better make sure that I'm sharing this with my online people. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. There you go, guys. I have my font like huge, so like not everything's fitting on my screen here, but at a normal size font, if I was to drop that down a little bit, are you going to drop down for me? That's what I would consider a normal size font. Here's my main program. It's like, what, 10 lines long, 15 lines long, including blank spaces. One of the benefits of the method of containing some of my code to separate methods is that I can keep my main program, and in fact, all the sub parts of my program, really small. Allows my brain to contain the whole idea. So my main program looks kind of like this. Hey, display a title. Tell me what day you want to learn about. Then give the information about that day. So I got some code to add in here in a little while, but it won't get too much longer. Tell me stuff I know about the day. And then when they're done, just like a good little goodbye message. Reason for putting that title into a method of its own, quite often we've been using like the ASCII art titles, and they take up 5-6 lines of space. Okay, well, put it down in its own method. And then once I have it working, I don't really have to ever look at that again. In Eclipse, I want to show you a few features of Eclipse as well while I'm going. And one feature is you can write a comment that says to do, and then give yourself a note like, oh, I'm supposed to do something here. Haven't done it yet, but I'll come back to it later. If you do that, in the gutter, you get these little markers. A little blue one means I wrote a comment that for myself that said to do, something that I'm supposed to do there, something I'm supposed to do there, something I'm supposed to do down here. And if you click on the little marker, it takes you right to that comment. So you can move around your program fairly quickly to find the spots in your program where you have something to work on if you leave a to-do comment. Also note, I think most of you guys know this by now, but if you have an error in your program, you'll get a little red marker in that gutter. You can click on that marker to just jump right to where the error is so that you can find it and fix it a little more quickly than scrolling through the program. All right. So if I was going to put code into this display the title part, like maybe I would make something a little bit nicer, but for right now, for the sake of time, just do something like println, welcome to planet descriptions, whatever. Certainly go through, make that bigger and better later, but I can come back to that and just deal with that little piece of code. One of the other things that I want to show you that Eclipse can do for you. You got this method done. You're sure it all works. Notice on the margin here, there's little like minus. I know it's really tiny on my screen, but when you're looking on your screen, you can see them a little better. There's a little minus sign, and it'll show a line down the length of the method. If you click on the little minus sign, it'll roll it up. And then it'll just show, okay, well, here's the signature of the method, but we're hiding the code. Because you've written that code, it's right, and you don't need to go back to it. So I don't need to have all that space taken up on my screen for something that I already know works. If I want to show the title anywhere in the program, all I have to do is type display title, and I already know that'll work. The comment can be rolled up as well into a little bit shorter version of the comment, just showing the first line. So I could simplify my entire program down by cutting down on the comments and cutting down on the methods to see a lot less code all at once. Again, this is something that helps with my thinking in the program. The code is not gone. If I click the little plus, it just all comes back. Right? It's all there if I need to edit it, of course, but I can hide it from myself. And that is visually a representation of one of the good reasons why we make a method. To take this code, how do I go from naming a day to saying what planet goes with that day? I do the following things. I check to see if the day was Monday, and if it was, my planet description is Diana the Moon. If the day was Tuesday, my planet description is Mars. Wednesday, and so on and so on and so on. And then once I have that planet description, I return that information to the main program, right? How do I do that? That's what I'm doing when I ask it to tell me the planet info about that particular day. As I'm thinking about coding in the main program, for the main program, I'm thinking at the like high level. Okay, what do you want? What day do you want to learn about? You type in your day. You type in, say, Monday. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, all I want to do is say, okay, here's what I know about Monday. The planet associated with Monday is, well, what planet do I know about that day? What planet goes with that day? While I'm thinking in my main program, I don't want to think about all the details of that if statement and all the details about how I figure that information out. I just want to say to myself, like, that's what I want to do right here. So I write the method name, and then I work out the details of the method a little bit later, fill that in. Right. One of the other things that the project asked me to do was to say, what's the ISO day number associated with the planet? So in my main program, I'm thinking, okay, all I want to say next is println the ISO day number is, and what method name might I use? I'd probably just say something like ISO for whatever day they typed in. ISO is going to need to know what day they typed in order to do that, in order to return a number. But I don't want to fill in details here. I just want to say, that's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. Get an ISO number. Maybe ISO number is a better. Remind me what it's supposed to do. ISO number. Get a number for that day. Okay, now Eclipse is kind of like, oh, what the heck is ISO number? I haven't made that method yet. So somewhere down the line here, I have some of my comments. There's the one for ISO. For ISO number, I want to return public, and I want to send back an integer. A day number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. So to be public int, ISO number. And in order to translate from the typed in word into the number, you got to tell me what word they typed in. All right. So in my comment for the method, I'm going to say a brief description, what the method does. Any parameter that I have there, I should tell some details about what that parameter is there for. The parameter day, that's the day that we're asking for the number for. And if my method is not public void, it's going to return back to the main program a little bit of information. So what information is being sent back? That's what at return tells me. At return is an int with the ISO day number. All right, so how do I do that? Well, I'm going to have to look at the day. If the day equals, ignoring case, Monday, then the day number is 1. What's day number? Where did that come from? I'm just going to use an integer for now to keep track. If it was a valid day, then I should get a number. If it's an invalid day, I want to get a number that doesn't look right. So like maybe negative 99. And I might add that to my comment. I'm using negative 99 for invalid days. Something like that. Right now, I just need to add in all my possible days. Try and do that quick. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So those should be an else. I make sure that I ignore my strong desire to put a capital on the day because I'm using equals ignore case. Actually, I guess it probably doesn't matter because it's equals ignore case. Okay. Thursday. Friday. Friday. Try to be consistent. Saturday. And Sunday. Sunday 7, Saturday 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, so there's my method to figure out what the day number should be. And my method, because my method for ISO number is said to give back an integer value, somewhere in this method, I have to have a statement that says return. What are you going to send back? I'm going to send back that day number. I yell at myself for not commenting. I'm declaring the day number starting with a value of negative 99, which would indicate an error. Unless it changes. Right, so that's how ISO number is supposed to work. Not a super complicated or maybe relevant method, but that's how it's supposed to work. Now that I wrote the code that does what it does, I don't ever need to think about that again. I can, well, assuming I tested it, it actually does work. That was a pretty simple method. I'm pretty sure I got it right. I can roll that code up, never really think about it again, and only ever go the ISO day number is, and then call the method to get the actual number. Because this returns integers, I'm printing out the number here because not a lot that the program has to do with it. But like I could even do, let's say 5 days from now would be ISO number for the day plus 5. Because it returns an integer, I can use it in calculations like that, just as if this is a number. Because after the function finishes, or after the method finishes, it is a number. It comes back with like 3. To get maybe a little more interesting, I haven't put a loop into this program yet to let the person type in, oh, you'd like to be able to keep doing this as long as the person's typing in days. So I said, well, what day do you want to learn about? Type that in. And I'm going to make a while loop that keeps going as long as what they type is a valid day. That's what I'd like to do. As long as you type the valid day, keep going. Of course, I got to give them the chance at the end of the loop to like, okay, what's the next day you want to learn about? So I'll just ask again at the end of the loop and let them type in a new day. After they type in a new day, don't need to redeclare that. Hey, is that a valid day? Yes, it is. Give the information. What day do you want to learn about? They type something like stop. Oh, that's not a valid day. The loop stops and they see the conclusion. Thanks for using the program, whatever it says. Is valid day is not a method yet, but it could become one as long as I make it. It's not one that has comments either. So I want to make the method, pull that up higher. Public something is valid day. I'm using this method in my while loop. While they typed a valid day or is valid day, keep going. I know that the condition in a while loop needs to have an answer of true or false. That's a Boolean value. So this method should return an answer of true or false, a Boolean value. If what they typed in is a valid day name, then it should return true. If what they typed in is not an actual day, then it should return false. And I'm just going to steal the code from the ISO. Where'd it go? Because it's going to be a similar if statement. Is it a valid day if the day they typed in is equal to, if the day they typed in is equal to Monday, then the answer to is that a valid day is true. If the day they typed is Tuesday, the answer is true. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but in all other cases, the answer would be false. Need to write a comment for my method. I do a /2 stars. Besides, if the given input represents a valid day name. going to return true if that's the day of the week. It's going to return false otherwise. Why have these comments for the methods? When I go back up to my program, I want to know what isValidDay does. Eclipse will give me a tooltip. It decides if the given input represents a valid day name. Where did it get that information? From my commenting. Right, so as I step through the program sort of mentally here, I display a title. I say, what day do you want to learn about? Actually, I can run the program and step through it at the same time. Get my console. There's my title, right? Welcome to Planet Descriptions. That's okay. I probably should have had that say day descriptions. Anyway, what day do you want to learn about? Before I hit enter on saying Monday, sort of trace with the program. I'm here right now on line 17, waiting to type or waiting to hit enter on my next line input. Then it's going to go, okay, is Monday a valid day? The answer to that should be yes. So it'll say, okay, here's what I know about Monday. The planet name is, the ISO number is. And then it'll ask me again, what day do you want to learn about? That's what should happen. Okay, I ran it again. I didn't press enter. Monday. Here's what I know about Monday. The planet for Monday is Diana, the moon. The ISO for day number is 1. What day do you want to learn about? I could space that out to look a little nicer, but the idea is there. Friday. That's a valid day, so the loop repeats. What day do you want to learn about? Valentine's Day. That's a real day, but it's not a valid one for this program. So isValidDay should return false. That means the loop should stop. And I don't have anything in my conclusion yet, so it should just finish. So I mean, Valentine's Day and the program just kind of ended because there was no conclusion to display. Main takeaways that I want you to take away for writing a method. Every method that you write should have a descriptive method header that goes with it as a comment that starts with a slash and 2 stars. It's going to tell it what the method does. It's going to describe any parameters that the method has. These don't have to be long statements. Point form English is fine, but it needs to be there. And it's going to tell you what information gets sent back, or what information you can expect to come back. First part. Second part, writing a method. This line, this is called the signature of the method. Java knows isValidDay as long as you type it in using the name isValidDay and the set of parameters, 1 string. If I try to do anything else, Java's not going to know that this is the method that we're talking about. The signature also tells me that I can expect to get back a true or false. Actually tells me and Java, you can expect to get back here a true or false. Right? Also tells Java that any program is allowed to access this method. That's what the public means. The part that I have wound up in Eclipse right now, that part, that's called the body of the method. And that's the code that does what the method is supposed to do. If your method name does not return void, you have to have a return statement. Until you have a return statement, the signature line will show up as an error. Right? So if you say public int or public string or public boolean or public anything other than void, you'll need a return statement. As soon as Java executes return whatever value, the method stops executing and it goes back to wherever the part of the program was that called it. Right? And by call, I mean wrote the name of the method and used it as an instruction for the program. All right, so where I wrote that name, Java jumps down, starts executing. Is this a valid day? Checks Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. True. Stops executing his valid day because it returned, came back, decided the answer was true. Oh, that means the while loop can continue and goes from there. Stop recording here for a second.